Really? Okay.
How long is the tour for the CD release?
Sorry, Trump in the first question. We're actually not on tour.
Oh, you're not on tour?
We just came here for this show and now we're flying back home.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah, super cool. Actually, you know what was kind of neat about it was there was a lot of stuff, like weather-wise and travel issues that were making it seem like, man, we must really need to get to that show for like a really spiritual reason. Like, we just really felt like God wanted to just bless people in this room tonight. And, I mean, it almost seemed like, because our whole tour actually got canceled. The promoter canceled the whole tour. And, you know, we had no idea why. And I mean, this happened.
Thank you, guys.
It's just kind of interesting. So we're actually not really on tour. We're just doing some shows and spending some.
Was there any reason you chose LSSU in particular before the?
Well, this was part of. We wanted to string together some dates that were in between shows that were on the tour, and this was one of the contacts we had made that just seemed like it would be a great place to come play, and so we wanted to do it, and then the rest of the shows dropped out around it. Like, we were supposed to have 2 or 3 shows like yesterday and the next couple of days kind of thing, you know? But it just didn't work out that way, but it was awesome to be here tonight anyway. So.
What did you guys think of the show tonight?
We can roll it over here. Let's roll our
One of the most fun shows we've done in the last couple of months, for sure.
Cool.
It's
Cool.
a lot of fun.
So what's your guys' plans for the rest of the year then?
Yeah, more just waiting on the Lord.
Okay.
We do have some more shows coming up, but as of right now, kind of have most of this month off, which is also timely in that, like, a lot of us have things going on with our families that it's just like a really good time for us to be able to go home right now. And we'll hit the summer festivals and stuff, and I don't know if we're coming to Big Ticket Festival, but then we'll probably do a tour in the fall.
Okay.
Yeah,
And will that still be for this CD?
of course.
Okay. Well, I was just wondering if you'd be recording more in some of the breakdown.
Oh, I mean, we pretty much always write, but as far as the logistics of like recording records go, we're on a record label called Tooth and Nail Records, BEC, from Seattle, Washington. And this record, Believer, that just came out, was actually our very last record on our contract. So we're not in a rush to go ahead and record another record right away, because I mean, it's just kind of,
Yeah.
so, but as of this point, we're pretty much trying to consider what's next for us in that regard. You know, whether it's with a label or not, or with them, or with someone else. You know, so.
So what were some of the inspirations for your new CD? What was the driving force behind it?
Yeah. You know, we have a really unique position in the world, and I don't mean Kutless, I mean believers, because more and more we're getting told that we need to be open-minded towards other things, whether that's religions or lifestyles, and simultaneously we're being told not to talk about our own. And the problem is, if you compare it to like an epidemic disease spreading throughout the entire world, we're the only people that actually have the cure. But everyone's telling us to keep it to ourselves. And these songs all reflect the lifestyle that a believer goes through in life. I think that there's times where we feel like the Lord is leading us, and there's times where we feel like we haven't heard from Him for a while, and we forget to draw close to Him in His Word daily. We forget to trust in His ways above our own. You know, we start to hold on to verses like Jeremiah 29:11 forget that at the same time, while God does promise to give us peace that leads to a glorious end, behold, the thoughts I think towards you are of peace and not of evil, Jeremiah 29:11 says. We cling on to those kind of verses, but at the same time we forget that God's word also says in Isaiah 55:8, my ways are not your ways, and your thoughts are not my thoughts. So we go, God has promised a plan of peace for my life, and I'm going to name that and claim it, like name it and claim it. And we start to think about all the ways that we see that happening. Okay, God is going to help me with my mortgage, and my kids in school, and I'm going to have a job. You start thinking through all these things, how that's true. But God says that my ways are not your ways, my thoughts are not your thoughts. So we have to choose to have faith in God being sovereign, really. We wanted to bring together a collection of songs that would really encourage people in that, We wanted to bring together a collection of songs that were stories that reflected God's own heartbeat towards humanity, in that while we were yet sinners, He was faithful to us. And so I think that that's kind of the sentiment behind the messages of these songs.
I saw that reflected also in the music video coming out, how sometimes you just go through some really hard times and it becomes hard to see
Totally.
where His plan is.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, for sure. And I think it's very therapeutic to write a song like that. At the same time, we need to be people, like Paul challenges us to, the Apostle Paul, that is, to rejoice always. And again, I say rejoice. We can't just always be talking about like, oh, it's so hard following the Lord. Like,
Yeah.
there's times where that's true, but like King David says, why art thou downcast, O my soul? Like, I shall hope in the Lord, my strength and my portion. Like, that should hype you up. God knows. So, that's kind of, like you said, like, we wanted to be able to reflect that in all sorts of different avenues with this record.
I think that covered pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Oh, how did you guys get into music, and how long have you been together as a band?
Well, we've all got a pretty diverse background musically, starting at different ages, some of us starting out with different instruments instead, and playing a whole bunch of other ones before we ended up on guitar or
We're gonna get him out of here. We're bringing another truck here. Balloon truck.
So, we've been together for about 10 years now as a band, and here's to 10 years more.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
What was your name?